So today we're doing the examples in, obviously in Schoology in today's folder. So, okay, today we're actually going to be solving a system by graphing. And I think the first thing we should do is just, numbers 1, 2, and 3 here are just to let you know, we'll come back to those. Let's just actually start with the example. So let's do example 4. I need you to solve the system by graphing. It's called a system of inequalities. And the only really way to solve a system of inequalities is to do it by graphing. So let's graph it. Number 4, I need you to graph the parabola y is greater than or equal to negative 3x squared plus 18x minus 20. In order for you to graph a parabola, you're going to need the vertex and the a value. So here we need to find out, like, where is the vertex? And the a value is negative 3. I can already tell that. But first, let's find the vertex. So there's different things that you can do to this parabola to find the vertex. If you want to, you can use like the h equals negative b over 2a. Or what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this into vertex form by completing the square. So let me take that over here separately, and let me just put an equal sign real quick. I'm going to take this negative 3x squared plus 18x minus 20, and I'm going to complete the square to change it to vertex form. You try it too. So if I do complete the square, the best way to complete the square is to make the coefficient of x squared become a 1. So I need to divide by 3. So this is going to be negative 3 parentheses x squared minus 6x. Leave a little space to complete the square, and then remember that you don't have to divide the minus 20 by the 3. Just leave the minus 20 alone. So now let me make sure I did it right. Negative 3 times x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times negative 6x is positive 18x. Okay, now you complete the square. Take half of negative 6, so negative 6 divided by 2, and square that. That should be a plus 9. And because you want to keep the equation balanced, you need to undo what you just did. However, because there's a coefficient of negative 3, I actually have done, that's a 9 times negative 3 is a negative 27. So I need to undo a minus 27. And the way to do that is to do a plus 27. So again, this is just from the last unit. Okay. So, example number 4, I can now write my parabola as y is greater than or equal to negative 3 parentheses x minus 3 squared plus 7. So, question on how to get, pause for question. So now that I have the parabola in vertex form, I can graph it. So let's graph it. Now I know the vertex is 3, 7. So no, I think it's, wait, what? It's negative 3, 7?
Oh wait, never mind.
It's 3, right? Because it was x squared minus 6x. Okay. So let's graph it. 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 7. So there it is. 3, 7. I'm just kidding, you can't see that. Alright, so it's still a good video. We're going with it. So 3, 7 is the vertex, and remember the a value was negative 3. So in case you forgot how the counting, I'm going to use the counting pattern, the a times 1, a times 3, and a times 5. So that means from the vertex, I'm going to go to the right one, and then I'm going to do a times 1. So negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, which means go down 3. And then from that point, I'm going to go to the right one again, and this time do negative 3 times 3. So negative 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I don't think I can fit any more points like that. That's all I can fit. So make the parabola. The other half is symmetrical, like this. So, questions on how to shade this inequality. So that was again from the last unit. y is greater than or equal to, that means that you go anywhere on the parabola. I like to go to the vertex. For the y values that are greater, then you start shading up. So in other words, go anywhere on the parabola and like start shading up. So basically it means to shade on the outside of the parabola for this specific scenario. So there's done. Okay, so now to actually graph the system, now we need to do the other graph. And the other graph, this is what someone asked earlier, this is the equation of a circle. So let me give you the equation of a circle in case you forgot geometry or you haven't taken geometry. It's for circles, it's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals the radius squared, and the center is always the h comma k, so you need to know where to graph the center, and the radius is always just the r. It's equal to r. So let's try that on example 4. You have an equation of x minus 3 squared plus y plus 4 squared less than 25, so that is a circle. The center of the circle is 3, negative 4. So let's graph it. 3, negative 4. The radius of this circle is 5 because you need to take the square root of 25. So the radius is 5. So that means that from the center, just go up 5, down 5, to the right 5, left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then be careful when you draw the circle. Technically, since it's a less than and not less than or equal, you're supposed to be making a dashed circle. On the test, to make it all easier, like I just made them all solid because it's really hard to tell, especially like online. So on the test, they're all just gonna be solid lines. But this one's supposed to be a dashed circle. And now here's how you know how to shade for the circles. So when it comes to circles, if it says less than 25 here, that means you need to shade all of the circles that have a radius less than 5. So less than means to shade all of the circles that have a radius less than the square root of 25. So that's going to be on the inside of the circle. So again, if it says less than r squared, then shade inside of the circle. If the circle has greater than, like over here, example 6, if the circle has greater than 4 or greater than r squared, then you shade on the outside of the circle. So now the final answer should be where the two shaded regions intersected. And this will be multiple choice on your test. I'll show you an example. But basically your final answer here should be inside of the circle but outside of the parabola, because remember we had the first one. So it should be, let me just get a highlighter. It should be inside of the circle but outside of the parabola. So let me pause for questions here. So the last example that I want to show you is number 5. Yeah, number 5. Okay, again, it's a parabola, so start with the first one. I just showed you how to graph a parabola. So go ahead and graph y is greater than or equal to 2 times x plus 7 squared plus 3. We literally just did that. This one's even easier because you don't have to complete the square. It's already there. So let's do it quickly. Number 5. The vertex is negative 7, 3. The a value is 2. So if I graph that, negative 7, 3. The a value is 2. So that means from the vertex, you go to the right 1 or over 1. So we'll go to the right 1 and then go 2 times 1. So 2. And then again from that point, you will go to the right 1 and then 2 times 3. So 6. It's not going to fit. It's going to be like right here. And that's okay. The other half is symmetrical. Ready? And now start shading. It's supposed to be y is greater than again. So again, I always just go to the vertex, and if it says y is greater, then start shading up. Or basically go anywhere on the graph and just start shading up. So number 5, that's the same thing we just did on number 4. Now here's the new thing, and the new thing is going to be to do the parabola that's horizontal. So when you get to the second equation here, or inequality, you notice how in this one you have x is less than y minus 8 squared. So for this one, your y is being squared, so that's a horizontal parabola. So it's going to open left and right horizontally. So that's why up here at the top, there's some practice problems for you to practice graphing horizontal parabolas. So, and well, if we have time, we can just keep going. But let me just show you how to graph this one specifically. Let me give you the vertex form of a horizontal parabola. So let me write it over here. Vertex form of horizontal parabola. Horizontal parabola. So the vertex form of a horizontal parabola, here it goes. It is x equals. Instead of y equals, it's going to be x equals. A parentheses y minus k squared plus h. So that you'll need to know. And again, you know that this is horizontal because for starters it says x equals, but really because it's y that's being squared. So x equals a y minus k squared plus h. The vertex is still h comma k, so write it down. So be careful, the vertex is h comma k. It's always h comma k. And then the a value is still just the a value. So let's try doing that on number 5. Number 5. Graph the parabola that's x, let's just pretend x equals y minus 8 squared minus 7. So the vertex should be vertex h comma k, so that's going to be negative 7 comma 8. Negative 7 comma 8. So graph that parabola, and then the a value here is just 1, but I'll show you how that works. So let's do that. Vertex negative 7 comma 8. Negative 7 comma 8. Okay, so I'll show you what I do to graph like the a value now, but remember this parabola is horizontal, and since a is a positive one, it's going to open to the right, versus when a is negative, then it opens to the left. But right now in example 5, a is a positive one, so this thing is going to open to the right. So basically here's what I do. I guess I still use like the a times 1, a times 3, and a times 5 because it is a parabola, but I guess I kind of cheat and like I just turn the paper sideways literally, and like from the vertex I still gonna go to the right one, up a times 1, and then from that point I'm still gonna do to the right one, and then a times 3, so 1 times 3, 1 2 3, and then again from that point I still go to the right one, and then this time 1 times 5, 1 2 3 4 5, and there it is. Like that's the parabola. Technically it's supposed to be dashed. And then the other side is symmetrical, so to the left 1, up 1, to the left 1, up 3, and I can't fit more. So I guess it's not really necessary to turn the paper sideways, but you can just do the counting principle like backwards, like 1 times a and 3 times a and 5 times a, and still do like right 1 up 1, right 3 up, yeah, right 3 up 1. But that's confusing, so I just turned the paper sideways. So now that I have, okay, first question about graphing. Alright, So now to shade like the x, the sideways horizontal parabolas, it's sort of the same thing. You go to the vertex. For x is less than, you start shading to the left. So literally start making lines to the left of the vertex. If it would have said x is greater than, then you start shading to the right of the vertex. So for now, I'm going to go to the vertex. X is less than, so it means start shading to the left of the vertex. Or honestly, like go anywhere on the graph and start shading to the left of that graph. So make lines going left. So it looks like that. And I know it's a whole big mess, so just be careful where the final answer is. The final answer should be, I guess kind of like Muhammad would say, like inside and outside, but it should be inside of the vertical parabola, but outside on the horizontal one. So it should be almost everything inside of that, but it needs to be outside of that little bitty piece right there. So that's what the final answers are for the systems. Your answers are going to, for the inequalities, your answer is a shaded region. So that's the shaded region. So now I'll answer questions, and then I want you to practice number 7 on the second worksheet there, because that's what you'll see on the test, multiple choice.